Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on April the 5th, 2016, and, overall, not a bad Impact, and I feel like storyline-wise, they did a pretty decent job here. Like, the match with Pope and Bobby Lashley, first of all, you were thinking it was just going to be, like, kind of a normal fight, like the two of them just brawl for a little while, and then maybe get broken up, but no, they turn it into, like, a full-on street fight match. Both of them working pretty well together. I liked how they did everything. I liked Bobby Lashley coming out there to attack Pope before the match even started, and just everything on that match. I felt like they did a relatively good job with that match. They even let Pope kind of get somewhat over, and getting somewhat over on Bobby Lashley there before Bobby Lashley takes over and wins the match. And I do like the aspect that they're still teasing a Bobby Lashley EC3 thing. But this was also a catalyst to get Michael Bennett out there for their continued storyline and attacking EC3, followed by a promo by EC3 and Michael Bennett setting up for next week's match with each other. So we'll see where they go with it. We'll see if Bobby Lashley plays any kind of role in that as well, because like I said, they've been teasing a Bobby Lashley EC3 feud as well, and we'll see where they go with everything. Overall, not bad segments of the show. The opening of the show with Jeff Hardy and Eric Young, not a bad steel cage match here. And, you got your typical spot from Jeff Hardy off the top of the cage in there to go along with it. Not a bad spot. Just not a big fan of it when you have, like, in my mind, like, I still throw, it's like a little bit of logic to it. It's like, okay, steel cage match. You have the two ways of winning, and they even make mention of it, of winning by climbing out of the cage or getting pinfall or submission. It's like, okay, you're at top of the cage. Climb down. No, jump. Okay, at least it looks cooler in that sense. But, no, not a bad steel cage match. I actually did kind of like that, the brawl from the beginning. And then eventually, I love how Bram, was trying to, do something with the padlock door the entire time. I really liked that little portion of it, and it added to that attention to it as well. So I ended up liking that a lot. You also had the Shane Helms, Trevor Lee segment with Eddie Edwards. Basically, Eddie Edwards turning him down. Obviously, this does not make Shane Helms at all happy in any way, and where they go with Trevor Lee as well. Like, they haven't had him do any kind of matches recently. It makes me feel like they're going to have some kind of Eddie Edwards Trevor Lee feud here very soon. But as soon as it looks like he's about, because obviously, like, Shane Helms has this thing wanting to go for the tag titles. You also have Beer Money come out to stop the attack on Eddie Edwards, which eventually brings out Decay to go along with everything, like both sides brawl, which is going to lead into some kind of tag gauntlet match, I think. That's what it's led to believe from the promo from Beer Money for next week. Like, they're going to put up their tag titles, and it's like a come one, come all. So it makes it almost feel like there's going to be a gauntlet style match, or if that, it might just be Decay versus Beer Money. We'll see how that one ends out panning out in the end. Overall, okay segment, nothing too crazy about it, and sets up something, I think, with Trevor Lee and Eddie Edwards. And you also have this potential of Shane Helms trying to search for another tag partner, and you also have the Decay and Beer Money thing going on as well. So all in all, not bad to that one. And they continued on with the whole thing with Al Snow attacking Grado and Muhammad Shira the week before. You had Al Snow backstage with one of the guys in charge saying, hey, you need to make an apology. You're also suspended. If you don't do it publicly, there's going to be a problem. So they're going to probably do something with that here. And that will probably also continue on with Grado and Al Snow and Muhammad Shira as well. So we'll see where they go with that. And you had Gail Kim, Maria, and Dixie Carter backstage. They were talking about the whole aspect of the two number one contenders, and like, who did you talk in TNA management to make these matches happen? It's like, Maria's like, I don't know. It's either almost playing the Ditzy moment again. It's like, it was a guy, maybe it was a girl. It's like, Gail's just like, who did you talk to? Same person? She did. So it set up this whole aspect that they're playing too much politics, and Dixie Carter makes a triple threat match with Jade, Madison Rayne, and Gail Kim for the Knockouts title, which, not a bad triple threat match, kind of short in the end, but also plays off of they play off the storyline with Maria basically kind of manipulating her way to getting this title change to happen, coming out there, knocking Gail Kim down with the title belt, and then allowing Jade to win the match and win the title. So all in all, not a bad segment, and we'll see where they go with everything, because it was like Jade's kind of Maria's chosen person. And if she's not going to try to get in the ring, so where are they going to go with this? Is Maria going to come out next week and try to manipulate the way where she gets the belt without actually having the match or anything like that? So we'll see where they go with everything in this case. Overall, not a bad segment. Match was kind of short, but not a bad segment overall. It continues on that storyline where they were going as well. And this leads to the whole thing with Matt Hardy and Drew Galloway and the World Heavyweight title. You had the final word going on at the beginning, and both sides kind of dissing each other and everything in that aspect. You know, you had Matt Hardy calling Drew Galloway like a thief and everything like this, and like, no one works harder than I do. And you had Drew going out there and saying, it's like, you know, I don't come out here and play a character. This is me 24/7 at all times. And he's like pointing at Matt and like accusing him of like all these things that he does, and uses people for props, like his own child and his wife. And eventually Tyrus comes in there and teases the whole Bound for Gold Battle Royal from October, where he won and gets a shot at a title. So he teases, it's like, hey, I could potentially use that tonight, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And that led into like a backstage segment with Tyrus and EC3. I loved how, like, right before the world title match, you have Matt Hardy talking on the camera, and just slowly walking the entire way right behind Matt Tyrus. And you get like that little stare down between the two of them. It's like, is he going to actually use it tonight? And they basically use that aspect of everything for just a distraction right at the beginning. But I like the aspect that they teased it, and it lets people know that they haven't forgotten about this, and they're probably going to use this into their storyline a little bit more. As for the match, not a bad match. Jeff Hardy eventually gets involved and helping Drew Galloway retain the title in there. Obviously, like, Matt is like going crazy nuts. He lost and everything like that. So that probably leads into something more with Matt probably ending with Eric Young as of this steel cage, because that kind of ended. That feels like it would end the feud right there. That steel cage match. It's probably going to go into some kind of feud with Matt Hardy here very, very soon, and probably play off of that, what they were playing before they went with this whole Eric Young. They've kind of been slow burning a Matt versus Jeff feud in there, and we'll see where they go with everything. And we'll see where they go with this whole Tyrus thing. Like I said, I like the tease. It makes people remember that, you know, hey, that's still there, and Tyrus can use it pretty much whenever he wants. Obviously with a little bit further notice, as they said, as they made the rule evident there. It's not like a Money in the Bank or a Feast or Fire cash in where it can just happen at a moment's notice. No, he has to give notice for it. So that makes it feel different as well. Different in that sense, like, hey, he has to give notice for this to actually happen and everything like that. So overall, like I said, I felt Impact Wrestling wasn't bad this week, and it ended up being, like I said, it ended up being pretty good. We'll see where they go with everything. So that's my review for TNA Impact Wrestling, and I thank you guys for watching.